Good morning, my friends. Welcome to today's training here on Thriving Beyond Codependency. If you're on YouTube, this is the Happiness After Codependency channel. Welcome. I am Marshall Burtcher, and I help codependents take their life back, take their happiness back, take their sovereignty and power back. I help them do that by helping them break free of the trauma bond by restoring safety, sanity, and self, and then help them come to know, love, and live who they are, so that they can go out into the world and build a life that they enjoy, creating happy relationships, purpose, fulfillment, satisfaction in their way. So that's what I'm all about, is helping you be happy after codependency. So that's what it's about. All right. Today's topic is blunt cake number 13. You don't have to make them wrong or make yourself wrong to justify your choices, to justify your boundaries, to make your choice, take actions that you want, to have what you need. Instead, stand in your sovereignty. So we're going to talk about that here in a moment. I'm going to get this shared out to the community here. The community, if you're not a part of it, is your safe haven here on the internet, where you can find tools, guidance, and support in your journey back to your well-being, back to your wholeness, back to your happiness, and beyond codependency and narcissistic abuse. The link is above on Facebook, below on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for doing that, by the way. I'm like getting close to 3,000 subscribers. I'm pretty excited about that. So thank you. Thank you for making that happen. So I'm going to hit the share button here. Share to the group. Click on the group. And wham. Put it in the group. Here we are. So good morning. Hopefully later this week, the transmission quality, if you're watching this live, gets better, because we'll be replacing the internet service with a different one, and ideally it does its job better, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you guys for being here. So let's jump in here. Blunt cake number 13. You don't have to make yourself or the other person wrong in order to justify your choices, your actions, your desires, the things that you want in your world. So a lot of times, especially when we've been in abusive dynamics, or we've been not supported, not allowed, not given the space or the support to occupy our space, to do what we want, to choose what we want, to take action the way we want. We've been made wrong for it. We've been criticized for it. We've been put down for it. We've been made fun of for it. We've been punished for it. They withdraw affection, attention, time, love. They stonewall you. They shame it. They look down on you. I'm really disappointed in you, when you've done something that's not actually disappointing. This imbues a sense of wrongness in us, a wrongness for being who we are, for how we do things, for what we want, for how we want it, and to feel like we have our power back, to have our space back, to have our sovereignty back. A lot of times we have to make the other person wrong. Got to make them wrong for me to feel justified in taking the action I'm taking, or making the choice that I'm choosing. And this is an invisible tug-of-war of power. It's like, we're responding to their reaction and then governing our behavior based on that. So in reality, they're controlling us inadvertently. We're giving them the power to guide and control us, rather than retrieving that power and coming into what I call sovereignty, which is my birthright, my innate power, my innate space, what I am actually naturally in possession of in my world, and operate from that. That's what I mean by stand in your sovereignty. Rather than making someone else wrong so we can be right, let's stand in our sovereignty and be like, nope, that's your point of view. This is what I'm doing. That way we're no longer in their yard judging what they're doing and governing our behavior based on that judgment. Instead, we're over in our yard going, well, that doesn't obviously work for them, but this works for me, and they're going to have to live with it. Just like I get to live with the choices they're making about their yard. When I come back to sovereignty, come back to this idea of I have an innate authority over my choices, my actions, my feelings, my desires, and my resources, then it becomes very easy to know your boundaries, very easy to understand what is and isn't in your responsibility. It allows us to respect others, to respect ourselves, and to respect the fact that, hey, we are going to be different, and we may not like that difference. That difference can lead to conflict. That difference can lead to confusion or frustration, and that's okay too, because we're learning how we work and how we don't in this. The beauty of this, since we don't have to make anybody else wrong, we don't have to make ourselves wrong, we no longer have to be concerned about pleasing the other individual. We have to be concerned about, does my choice and action line up with what I want in my life? Is this going to bring me results or consequences I want to live with? And do I know what I want to live with? If I'm looking for joy, if I'm looking for happiness, am I looking for contentment, if I'm looking for excitement, whatever it is, do my choices and actions lead to those kinds of results most of the time? If I don't know, then I've got to go out and do experiments. But now I'm not governing my behavior, my choices, my actions based on what brings someone else a certain response towards me, but what it brings to me. Really good example of this in my life was a number of years ago. I bought a car that I really, really wanted, but it scared the living tarnation out of me. I couldn't understand at the time why buying a car that I really wanted was scary, but it had me, I was really scared. People would judge me. People wouldn't like me anymore. People would think I'm a haughty person or stuck up or I didn't deserve it, that kind of thing. And that's because I was over in their yard trying to calculate their responses so that I could make a decision about my desire. I was not aligned with myself. I was fixated on pleasing them or just avoiding something. When I pivoted that, and I did this, I didn't know what I was doing at the time because I was very unconscious to myself at that point. I decided, I want this for me. I wanted this. This is something that really speaks to me. And so I jumped into it, and I had so much joy. And then the results of that was pretty startling, because my joy about this thing I got spread. Other people were joyful about what I got. Other people were excited to participate and partake of it. Other people went and got things they wanted to go get. They told me, that joy you had about doing that inspired me to go get this thing. It was so cool that me standing in my sovereignty, rather than making myself wrong or them wrong, inspired this big positive outpouring of joy and love. It was magic that way. That's the power of standing in our sovereignty, is that in a way, our courage gives other people courage. It inspires their courage to take action and operate from their authority to do the things that bring them a little joy in their world, to be a little more who they are. Because now we're not like in this game of, I got to keep your approval because I don't want to deal with your rejection. It's more like we get to celebrate each other because we're doing the things we do. Because nobody's wrong here. That's the magic of it. Now I'm going to put a little star on this because there are things that are quote-unquote wrong. Abuse is wrong. Violation of other people's autonomy, their character, their body, their resources, wrong. It's unhealthy. It's harmful. And people who are doing that to you, their behavior is wrong. It's toxic. It's unhealthy. It's violating. If that's something you've seen yourself do, that's a place to catch yourself and go, this doesn't align with who I want to be. What does? And explore who you are from the sovereignty side of things. It's like, if I use my power, my choice, and my action this way, what am I trying to get? What outcome am I trying to produce? Does the choices and actions I'm taking align with that? Does it produce those outcomes? If not, then I need to change what I'm doing so I can get the outcome I'm looking for. Because personally, I think majority of us are trying our best to really show up with positive, warm regard, that we have a hope within us that others are doing that as well. And when we're reaching towards that, it improves everything. It makes everything a little better, because it's rough. We're all growing up. We're all dealing with challenges in our own state of maturity, state of awareness, state of understanding. Me too. I mean, last week I had my own little bit of entitlement show up that I had to deal with. It's human. So we don't have to make ourselves wrong. We don't have to condemn ourselves. We don't even have to condemn others. But we can look at the behavior and go, this hurts. This is wrong for me. This needs to stop. So a little bit on that. So Pam says, it's so foreign to focus on what my practice does for me, not how it affects others. Very new and difficult. Yes. It is a big shift. We're moving from this thing called external orientation, where we are deriving our value and our choices and our actions and power based on someone else's response to us, to an internal orientation about what we value, what matters to us, and what we want to live with. That is a big shift, because now, as we stand in our sovereignty, especially when this is new, we might feel disconnected. We might feel space. We may not feel that closeness we're used to feeling with others, because we're not in their yard. We're in ours. And now we can build a real connection between them and ourselves through consent and through understanding and through play, through genuine intimacy, where we see and understand each other that way, where our magic is valued and witnessed and celebrated to each other. Hey, Lauren, it's been a while. Thank you. It's good to see you. So it's coming back to not making us wrong, making them wrong. And when we get outside of abusive dynamics, we get into just normal life dynamics, there's still a lot of wrong making we do. We make ourselves wrong for the needs and wants we have, for the boundary we have. We make ourselves wrong for disappointing other people. We make ourselves wrong because someone else is hurt because we said no. We don't have to make ourselves wrong anymore, and we don't have to make them wrong anymore. If you're in the dating world, this is the name of the game. You're going to be hurt. Hurt feelings are part of relationship, period. But in dating, the game is no until you say yes. And so we don't have to make them wrong for being upset or sad. We don't have to make ourselves wrong for upsetting them. That's dating. That's the way it works. In relationship, sometimes we're going to be hurt. Sometimes we're going to hurt them. And I'm not talking about abuse. I'm just talking about disappointment. I'm just talking about, oh, I can't do that right now. Oh, I feel hurt. We don't have to make ourselves wrong for feeling the hurt, and we don't have to make them wrong for not being available. It's more like we can hold space and we can value the mutual experience there and see our goodness in it, the positive, warm regard in this arena, and approach it with respect for the sovereignty, the autonomy of everyone involved. Because fundamentally, relationships are built on consent and privilege, or at least relationships that work, relationships that are fulfilling, that are happy, that feel connected and intimate. They're built on consent and privilege, because that produces respect. It produces presence and consciousness about self and other in the relationship, where you can see and witness each other rather than try to control each other through coercion, through manipulation, through a domination or dominionism, or through, some sort of strange I'm the authority perspective, which is not real. All relationship that functions well and produces well-being and happiness comes from consent and respect for each other. We don't have to make ourselves right or wrong in there. Our job really is to understand each other. And when we get out of making ourselves wrong or they're wrong, then we can understand. And then we can respect it. That allows us to be very attuned to ourselves and to others, and have a very open, connected, and intimate relationship with the other individuals that we have in our world. At least that's how my experience is. And that's how the clients that I've worked with directly in relationship, that's what they experience. They feel connected, they feel seen, they feel valued. They're not scared of being themselves as much. They're not scared of their differences. In fact, their differences tend to add to their relationships more than it impacts it negatively. And they get to be seen. You both get to be celebrated. Or how many of their, if you're poly, then all of you get to be seen. That's the magic of it there. So Lauren says, my sovereignty and autonomy was lost, and this all makes sense, and I'm starting over again. Yeah, well, bring it home. Occupy space. Bring that in. If you're struggling with this, or you want structured guidance in this, guys, the Heal Yourself strategy and the Know Yourself strategy are completely built on this premise. So I recommend enrolling in the Know Yourself strategy because you get access to the Heal Yourself strategy as well. The link is above on Facebook, below on YouTube. The live classes for that start here in about 6 weeks from today, actually. That would be August 17th. So yeah, that'll be starting here, and you'll be seeing some promotions for that coming up. But yeah, it's all about sovereignty. And then from sovereignty, we create connection and interdependence, and we can have relationship joy and fulfillment there. Because we're whole beings, they're whole beings, and we get to share experience together and create life together. So that's the magic there. And we don't have to make ourselves wrong. You don't have to make them wrong. Instead, we can stand in respect for our own authority, our own sovereignty, and choose and act in the ways that add to our well-being and happiness, and respect that other people will respond as they do from it. And you can allow that to inform you about who they are and how they fit in your world. So that's today's blunt cake. Appreciate you guys showing up. As always, remember that you're worth knowing, loving, and keeping. And also, if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Share this video out, guys, to people you know would benefit from it. Let me know your thoughts again in the comments below. Thank you for being part of my world and for assisting me in growing my message and impact in the world. Because this last year, you guys have made a huge impact on me. Well, thank you for allowing me to impact your world. So I will see you guys in our next video. Be safe out there. Have a good day. Bye-bye.